On that note, let's get rocking and rolling here. Welcome back to Shameful Locks. This is a new year, fresh start. Lord knows I needed it after the year I had last year. Gabe's going to run over our record from last year and stuff like that here in a minute. But as always, my name is Tim Triplett. I am joined alongside, wherever he is, I don't know which way I'm pointing, Gabe Acosta. And our newest addition to the Shameful Locks family this year will be coming all the way from Pittsburgh, Mr. Blake Profio. How you doing tonight, buddy? You ready to join the family? Hopefully you bring better luck than I did last year. Lord knows we need it over here. How you feeling though? You ready to get going?
Oh yeah, ready for football, man. It's been a dry summer. I'm tired of betting on baseball. So yeah, I'm ready. I got some pretty good picks coming here, I think. Let's get it. Let's get it going.
Probably better than my picks. So all right, I'm gonna let Gabe take over here, kind of give us a rundown of last year, and then set us up for what we're gonna do here on this preseason show here.
Sure thing, sure thing. So as you were, I don't know if you guys all watched last year, but hopefully you did. So last year, regular season wise, I went 18, 17, and 1. Tim, we'll put a small note in here. Tim was betting college football for like 3/4 of the season, but his record was 7, 25, and 1. I hope everyone was auto fading him, and you may consider doing that this year. Playoffs wise, I went 4 and 3. Tim actually did better playoff percentage, 2 and 5. Only way up for Tim. And last year I did finish 24, 21, and 1. Profit, baby. Tim finished strong. That's all we can say. 10, 32, and 1. I just think you're going to do better.
Yeah, I mean, all we can do is go up from here. So, when you're in the dirt, the only place to go is up. So hopefully that's where I trend.
Yeah. So I'll give you a quick rundown of what we're doing. So this year, Tim is going to be our guest host. It's going to be me running it most of the time this year. It's going to be Blake and I giving out 3 weekly prop picks. Or not only props, we're actually going to go 1 game pick, 1 player prop, and then 1 wild card. It can be anything. But preseason's on the way. Like I just said, we're going to start snake draft style. So I'll start. Then
so what are these picks though? Since we're in preseason, we're doing futures, right? We're not picking preseason games.
Sorry. Yes, we're not picking preseason games. These are futures. These will be like full season totals, like somebody to get X amount of yards by the end of the season, or X touchdowns, or teams to get X amount of wins. Right. We're going to be betting 1 unit on each of these plays, and then at the end of the year, we'll try to see who won the most units, who had the most wins, losses, that kind of thing. Again, like I was just saying, we're going to go snake draft here. I'll start, then Tim can go, then Blake will go again if we like his pick, and then we'll just keep going back and forth. So I'll start us off here. My first pick is going to be Jaguars over 10 wins this upcoming season. I'm a big Jags believer. Jags won me some good money last year when they clutched up and won the division.
I do remember that.
I'm going to ride the hot hand. Yeah, that was nuts. Going to ride the hot hand and go Jags over 10 wins. I'll get the push, meaning I'll get my money back if they win exactly 10 games. So I need them to win more than that. But putting 1 unit on that will win me 0.9 units back. So if I were to put $10, it would mean $9. Nothing crazy, but I think it's a pretty safe play. Trevor Lawrence, division sucks. It seems pretty easy to me.
Yeah, that's the AFC South, right? With the Texans and the Colts. Yeah, it's not going to be a strong division in any sense of the word this year. And with the way that Jacksonville ended last year, that momentum I think will carry pretty well. Plus the addition of Calvin Ridley's over there now, right?
Yes, which we'll get to him later.
All right.
Some of us might.
My 2023 season future. If any of you watched last year, you understand my blood hatred for not only the Broncos, but more specifically Russell Wilson. So that kind of played into this bet when I saw where the line was for them on wins this year. So I'm going to be taking the Denver Broncos under 8.5 wins. That's set at -110 on FanDuel. off of the atrocious season that they had last year. I don't see Sean Payton in one season turning that around. Added with the fact that it is very hard for a quarterback to learn a playbook in 1 year and turn around and be successful with it, let alone to go through 3 playbooks in 3 years. Russell Wilson's going from Pete Carroll offense, which obviously he knew pretty well at that point, but he went to Nathaniel Hackett's Denver offense, which obviously did not work well at all. And now trying to adapt Sean Payton's playbook, which, is just a very hard thing to do, one for a quarterback, let alone for an entire offense and an entire team to adopt a new philosophy. So I don't see them getting over that 8-win mark. I think it's a very lackluster season for them. I'm not going to rule out the possibility of them finding success in year 2, year 3 with Sean Payton, but this year I don't see it getting off the ground very much.
Yeah, and they're in a tough division too. So 8-9 wins would be a pretty good season for them. It would be an insane turnaround, in my opinion.
Yes.
All right, Blake, new guy. What do we got?
All right. Yep, I'm the new guy. I apologize for the blank room. This won't be in my regular filming spot. So, yeah, but a little bit about myself. Most of my picks are going to be based off of feel and how I'm speculating a situation will go. But I'll occasionally add some stats in there to back it up. And another thing is I'm a huge Steelers fan, so I might be a little biased with my picks, which you'll see with 2 out of 3 of these. But my first one is Steelers over 8.5 wins, and that's at -150 on FanDuel. And for that reasoning is they finished 9-8 last year with all the injuries and the QB change they had going there, but they finished 7-2 down the stretch, which is pretty good. They were playing some good defense, and the offense was doing just enough. But I think the offense is going to be way better this year with Kenny Pickett at the helm of that offense, with the whole training camp under his wing, and ended in the last season on that run. Then you're not going to doubt Mike Tomlin. He's never had a losing season. He just always finds a way to get it done. He's going to be a Hall of Famer when everything's said and done, in my opinion. And overall, their roster has just been better in every single spot. They cleaned up the inside linebacker room, obviously, with additions of Holcomb and Quan Alexander and those type guys. And we didn't lose anyone. We're bringing basically everyone back. So, yeah, we're going to have a good year.
Blake, I'm a Steelers fan too, as we're all aware if you watched last season. But I love that pick. Again, you mentioned never had a losing season. Big fan of that pick. Tim, thoughts?
Yeah, I think the entire offseason and training camp, as you mentioned, for Pickett being established as that starter versus sitting behind Trubinsky last year, kind of just waiting in the cowl, waiting for his time to shine. I think that gives an NFL quarterback a little more peace of mind. It doesn't always pay off, but I think in year 2, one, you really see what kind of quarterback you have, whether it was a good pick, bad pick, and 2, you usually see, a pretty big uptick if that player's headed to a good career. So, I think there's nothing but positives out of Pittsburgh this year. Versus last year, you had the retirement of Ben the year prior, and you guys were kind of looking for a down year that year. But this year, I think the tides have turned, and it'll look pretty good. I like that bet.
Yeah. Blake, I'd like you to go again. I like it that much.
All right. I guess I'll go again here. Thanks, Gabe. Steelers fan wearing a Bears shirt. Interesting there.
He did it just to piss me off.
My next pick, I got Cooper Kupp over 1,225.5 receiving yards, and that's at -112 on FanDuel. Obviously he was injured last year. Didn't play a whole lot. I'm not sure how many games he missed, but obviously it was a down year for them and the Rams together because they didn't have Stafford healthy either. But I mean, Cooper Kupp comes down to he's just a dog. Like, he was the Triple Crown winner just 2 seasons ago, and I think people kind of forget that they got all this hype around Jefferson and Chase, but I think Stafford and Cup, I think they're gonna, rekindle that connection between the two. And there's not many other guys on that team who are going to be producing, in my opinion. Like it's kind of just those two guys. And
I like that pick too, Blake. I think he's going to go pretty hard under the radar, especially in fantasy. People kind of going to forget about him because I think he missed like 60% of last season.
I do see this being a big year for him in one or two ways. This is either the year where, we see the old Cooper Kupp back that won the Triple Crown, or, we see a declining receiver riddled with injuries kind of on his way down, on his way out. I don't know how much Stafford has left in the tank. But I think, Kupp's success is going to be a lot hingent on Stafford, where he is. He's late in his career, had a pretty decent sizable injury last year. How does he recover from that? Where are we at with Stafford's injury? I think in relates to Kupp. So we'll see. I like that connection of them too. I loved watching them the year they won the Super Bowl. That was really fun to watch. So I hope by all means that comes back. But yeah, my next pick, I've been asked a lot here recently, as in the last few months, my thoughts on this guy. Obviously everyone wants to know, my opinion on it, obviously, but I have no hatred toward the guy, right? Aaron needed to leave Green Bay years ago. This was far beyond due for me, I think. Love the guy. And I still think he can produce. So with that being said, I'm going to take Aaron over his passing yards this year, which is at 3,800 and a half, 3,800.5. That is minus 112 on FanDuel as well. I saw that and I go, God, I missed that guy. I wish my quarterback's over under was 3,800 and a half. I didn't even look at Jordan Love's, but I guarantee it's nowhere near that. So, I started looking back at the stats a little bit, and he since 2014, he has only not hit the 3,800 mark twice. Once being last year, when his franchise was pretty much done with him and completely failed him on all counts. Didn't really put any weapons around him, and coaching kind of failed him a little bit. Dealt with a little bit of injuries, here and there with the thumb and stuff like that last year. And then the other season was, I can't remember the exact year, but it was the year he was out for almost half the season with that broken collarbone, of course, injury. So, I think he's still producing. I think he's still at the top of his game. We're talking about a guy that's a year removed from back-to-back MVPs. We're not talking about some washed up gray old man by any means. So I like the Aaron Rodgers over 3,800 and a half yards, passing yards this year. That's minus 112 once again. I'm locking it in.
Yeah, I like that. I think he's going to have kind of a Peyton Manning on the first year of the Broncos type season where he set all those records.
Yeah.
I definitely could see that. I think I saw some stat the other day where it was like crazy, like Hall of Fame bound quarterbacks that go to the first year. If you take out Russell Wilson last year, which I'm sure you were a fan of, Tim, so you're not going to be mad about that. I think it was like they went on to make the playoffs, I think like 5 out of 6 years or 6 out of 7 years, something like that.
Yeah.
So pretty cool bet. I'm a fan of that. I'm going to go ahead and give my second pick now. I know Blake was kind of talking about my Bears shirt, being a Steelers fan, but I'm wearing it for, there's a theme here. My second pick is Bears to make the playoffs. This is definitely a pick I'm probably picking a little bit with my heart, but I think the data is just going to put it out there for you. I believe there was a stat that is the last 2 years, the teams to spend the most in free agency have made the playoffs. 2 years ago, it was the Patriots. Last year, it was my Jags. Also a diehard Justin Fields guy right here. Got a signed jersey back there. That's my guy. Huge Ohio State fan too. So I said this is definitely a little bit of a homer pick, but the addition of DJ Moore and the addition of they got that new tight end from the Packers. I forget his name. I'm blanking on it. Tim could help me out here.
Who they get? Mercedes Lewis?
No, well,
Robert,
yes, he actually
Robert Tonyan.
Tonyan. Yeah,
Tonyan, Robert
that's
Tonyan. Yeah, Tunyan's a baller, dude. He's a grinder.
He is. He is. Like I said, I think the offensive line got better. They drafted a guy in the second round, supposed to be doing pretty well, and I think DJ Moore is going to pop off this year, man. He's a real wide receiver one, and I mean, who is his best quarterback been before this? He played with washed Cam Newton, and I'm a Cam Newton guy. I think that might have been his best guy. But yeah, that is plus 160. 1 unit on that is going to win 1.6 units. Just don't want to bum you guys out, but I'm probably 2-0 right now. Ready to go 3-0. But
The
third pick here,
dude.
Yeah, need it. My third pick here, I'm going right back to the Jags, going Calvin Ridley, over 1,000 receiving yards. This is an alt line. I don't know what his actual line is at, but there's if you go on FanDuel, there'll be like receiver to get 1,000 yards, 1,250, and then 1,500. But Calvin Ridley for 1,000 receiving yards is plus 155 on FanDuel. The reason of this is like I said, I'm full in on the Jags this year. I think they're going to win their division. I think they're going to have a really good season. Our guy Calvin Ridley is a gambler. I mean, I got to respect that. But
You
also
bet on that.
Shouldn't do that. Yeah, I hope he doesn't do that this year. That would really suck. That would probably make me 2-1 then. But Calvin Ridley, he did not play last year because he was gambling. And then the year before that, he decided to take a mental illness break, and he had to, I don't know, he had some weird thing where he said, "Hey, I'm out. I'm gonna go get myself right." And then year before that, was his last full season. He played with Matt Ryan. He had over 1,500 yards receiving. So like I said, I'm a big believer in the Jags this year. So I think he's going to get at least 1,000 yards. I see Trevor Lawrence throwing for over 4,000. So I think Calvin Ridley, their new wide receiver one, will get at least 25% of that.
Sure.
Yeah. Just one thing to say on that. I like that pick, especially with the emergence of Christian Kirk last year in that offense. Also, Evan Ingram is kind of a dog. I mean, I didn't think too highly of him originally on the first team he was with. Who was that? The Giants, right? Evan Ingram?
Yeah, he was on the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And did they lose a receiver? Didn't they have like Marvin Jones or something?
They did lose Marvin Jones. Their three receivers this year are going to be Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, and then Zay Jones.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's a good pick. He's Trevor Lawrence has no shortage of weapons, and he's definitely gonna be spreading the ball around a lot. So
yeah. And that goes back to your first lock too, Gabe, is a pick there. I like that, the Jags over in their wins. I see it being a pretty big year for them. I think they're putting all the pieces together at the right time, and it'll be fun to see. All right, my final lock. This one kind of backed by stats, more of just kind of a novelty stat, and also just kind of backed by I was feeling it and it looked fun to bet on. I'm gonna go Browns to make the playoffs this year. That is at plus 112, obviously. You guys are Steelers guys. That's going to be a tough division this year, without a doubt. We were talking about the upsides. No profanity, please. We were talking about the upsides of the Steelers team, as well as obviously the offensive superpower that's down in Cincinnati combined. Then you throw in with Lamar over in Baltimore as well, which jury's still out on how well that'll go. But I like this bet because there's a stat floating out there, and I saw a video of this the other day. I think I sent it to you, Gabe. I'm not sure. I already had this picked out before I saw this video, but this just affirmed it. There's one team every year for the past 8 years, was it something like that? I can't remember the exact number, but it was like 5 to 8 years. That comes from the bottom of the division and ends up making the playoffs. This is similar to your Bears stat. Whoever spends the most in the past 2 seasons has made the playoffs. So, and this guy was talking about all the reasons it should be the Browns. And I was like, all right, I think I got the right pick then. I got the right lock. But yeah, I think, with, even though they lose Kareem Hunt, which I don't think is that big of a loss, back there, when you have Nick Chubb and a couple younger, running backs. We saw, what was the guy's name in the Hall of Fame game? 25, I think his number was. He's not a rookie, he's a second year, but he's kind of a wide receiver. Yes, wide receiver, running back, kind of hybrid player that they're using him as, kind of like a Deebo Samuel over in San Fran. That kid's kind of talented. Obviously, you got their defensive line that's going to be outrageous this year. And then some speed on the wide receiver side of the ball with Deshaun Watson coming back with a full season. I think it's a formidable force in a pretty good division. So I'll take them to make the playoffs plus 112.
All right. I hate that pick. Sorry, Tim. I won't fade you, but but you might have a good year this year. You're due, as I like to say. But,
Very due.
So as I said, I'm a Steelers fan, so that takes me into this. It's a little bit of a wild card, but I have a lot of faith in it. TJ Watt to have the most regular season sacks in the NFL at plus 850 on FanDuel. He's coming off an injured season. Like, he missed, I think, 8 games. But the guy's an animal. He's the 2021 Defensive Player of the Year. He's got Alex Highsmith on the other side, who just got paid, and I think he had 13 and a half sacks last year, 14. So, he's a great player. And one thing that I saw on FanDuel that I was kind of shocked at is they have a sack total. They have his line at 13.25 sacks, which I think is pretty disrespectful. And that leads me back to another point: is TJ Watt's been getting disrespected, in the media a lot by like Colin Cowherd and guys like that who think they know football, but they don't. So I think he has a ton of motivation heading into the season. If I could add another bet, it might be that he'd be the Defensive Player of the Year, but I won't go that far. So I'm a TJ Watt guy, and yeah, that's it.
I hope that bet actually hits, Blake. I'm hoping you win that one. That is an absolute home run bet. You win 8.5 units if you hit that one. Would you say 13.5 was his line, or 12.5?
Yeah, 13 and a quarter.
That's pretty low.
I know. I think Myles Garrett's was at 14, maybe. Which
I would say
they get compared a lot. So
yeah, I would say that's probably going to get hit as long as you don't get injured.
Mm-hmm. I was going to play that sack total, the over, but I thought that was going to be a little too easy. So
you wanted something more challenging, huh?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Throwing it out there. Hail Mary. I love it. That it? Wrapping it up? Tim? Me? You?
Yeah, man, I'm ready for some football. I'm sick. I love the summertime weather-wise and, all the stuff you can go out and do, but man, is life boring without football or what? I'm ready for a nice a crisp college football Saturday, a crisp NFL football Sunday, some Monday night football, some Thursday night football, some action on a Tuesday. Doesn't matter to me, man. But yeah, man, this could be a fun season. Make sure to stay tuned, everybody. These two, you are in good hands with these two, running it down, up and down every week. You'll probably win more with them than you did with me last year. So, whenever I come on to give a bet, fade it, take theirs. The deal. But anyone else, parting words?
Yeah, I'm really excited for football, and we'll be back for week 1 with a vengeance.
He's ready to take the sports books for all their money, huh?
Please, need it.
All right, folks. Well, that's all we got over here. We'll see you next time on Shameful Locks.